Entrepreneurs and small business owners, are you feeling overwhelmed by lack of capital, growth challenges, or personal branding? You are not alone. UCS Advisors is here for you. We're professional capital raising advisors committed to helping you secure funding and grow your business. Are you ready to impress investors? Check your investor readiness with our free 45-second quiz at ucsquiz.com. We believe in you. Visit ucsquiz.com and start your success journey. And remember, always be willing to achieve your greatness.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We're here in Atlantic City, New Jersey again. So 3 weeks in a row that we've been down here in Atlantic City. We're at the Claridge today with Randy Price and Jeff Marshall. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So I think it'll be good to, because this is a hotel. So it's like the first hotel we've ever done on the show.
Okay.
So congrats on that.
Thank you. You picked a good one.
Absolutely. No, I agree. So I want to learn a little bit about what you guys do, and then in relationship to the Claridge, and then we'll kind of get into some of the stuff about the hotel and all that. So Randy, why don't we start with you?
So my name is Randy Price. I'm the marketing, entertainment, and brand manager here. I do a lot of support with Jeff when it comes to the marketing and a lot of the ads that we do online. I also have a lot to do with booking our entertainment in the building. And I also handle a lot of the tech and IT side, so I'm a little bit over the place.
Cool.
And I'm the director of sales and marketing of the property. Been here about 3.5 years. It's been a great experience. Oversee everything from group bookings to conventions, things like that, individual transient rooms from corporations and things of that nature. We also do a ton of social events here, weddings, things like that. So it's been a great experience. Like I said, been here 3.5 years now. Time has flown by, and great hotel, great team.
Yeah, for sure. Just real fast, you don't have to worry about the camera.
Okay.
I kind of figured I noticed that after.
Yeah, you're good. I'll just make sure I'll take that.
Gotcha.
I just want to make sure that you know that moving forward.
Yep.
But I should have said that. Yeah, that's my bad. All right, cool. So we're back. So I interested to learn a little bit more about the hotel and its history, obviously. But I will say that I've stayed at a bunch of places down here, whether it's for my full-time job or the show or wherever. This has been like the best experience I think I've had so far, just dealing with like the staff, and all that kind of stuff from dealing with you guys at the beginning and getting this off the ground. And, because I think I reached out to you maybe like a week ago.
Yep. Yeah,
and we put this all together.
It didn't give us much time, but
and I told you that on the phone the other day. You were like, trying to help you out. And I was like, this is more.
Here we are, so we got it done.
Yeah, exactly. We did it. And I am a guy that thrives on chaos usually. So this is like right in my wheelhouse. No, but it's been like, whether it was up at the View or, just like dealing with like the front desk and all that kind of stuff, it's been such an awesome experience.
That's so nice to hear.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a great team.
Yeah.
A hotel is a hotel, but you're only as good as the people you got working for you.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. So I want to learn more about the history, like I said before. So can we talk a little bit about maybe like early days of the Claridge? Like when was it built? Like maybe some early stuff that...
It was under construction, built in 1929. It opened in 1930.
Yeah.
And, it was built like during the Great Depression when a lot of things like stopped. And, Randy can get into some of the specifics of the builder and how much money they put into the property, especially at a very difficult time. But, I'll turn that over to you. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? And then I'll tell you maybe some of the famous people that have been here and stuff like that.
Mike Ham is one.
Yeah, very much so.
One of these pictures on the wall, whatever.
Yeah, I heard. I heard that in the news that you were going to be. Yeah, it's a good morning, America this morning.
Like Mike Ham sighted in Atlantic City.
There you go,
sweating his ass off.
Right.
Episodes.
So John McSwain is actually the guy who designed our building. He had a lot to do with the White House and the Pentagon renovations. So having that kind of class behind it really shows throughout the building, especially with the time that it was built. Jeff mentioned the Great Depression. As you can tell when you walk around, nothing in here was spared.
Yeah.
So you see the brass everywhere that's original from the 20s, all the hand-carved woodwork. A lot of that stuff's really important. And in the time of the era, the only other building that was a rooming house, they called them, was only 3 floors.
Yeah.
So clearly we were a much larger addition to the city at the time.
Sure. That is so interesting, though. Like, during the Great Depression, building a rooming house when no one has any money.
Yep.
Basically, like, as far as like most of the population goes, and then to just
still
like
done.
Yeah, and get it done, and then like expect that people are actually going to stay there. You know,
I mean, it was known as the skyscraper by the sea.
Yeah.
Because it's just something so different.
yeah,
All the other buildings in the city, the rooming houses at the time, were also made out of wood.
Yeah.
So not only during the Great Depression did people have less money to spend, and they still spend the money here, this entire building was built with concrete, rebar, and brick. So at the time, it was built to withstand time.
And it's an iconic hotel. I mean, it's one of the last architectural type hotels of the Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
People know the Boardwalk Empire from the show and so forth, but
The other bar we're actually sitting in right now is the second oldest bar in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Only second to the Irish pub. And the brass that we're leaning on is all original from that time.
that is wild to me, and like that is the cool thing. And this is the 3rd episode that I've recorded today, so like the last 3 weeks and next week also will be Atlantic City episodes. And 3 of the 4 are like super historic, and so it would be like Doc's. And then tomorrow we're doing Tony's Baltimore Grill. So like there's 3 right there. But
right.
Claridge.
They've all been here a long time. Right.
And that is like something like when I first started coming down to Atlantic City. Are you guys from down this way?
I grew up in Cherry Hill, which isn't too far.
Sure, yeah.
An hour away.
Yeah.
I'm from Egg Harbor Township.
Oh.
Family grew up working in the city at the casinos.
Yeah. So I'm not from down. I'm a North Jersey guy. I say Taylor am. But
Won't get into it.
yeah. We already did actually.
I worked in North Jersey, so I can relate.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So when I used to come down here, so I have a full-time job. This is not it, but don't tell anyone. So it's not like anybody listens to the show anyway. Just kidding. So when I was coming down here for like work conferences, and we'd be staying at like Harrah's or Borgata or Ocean or one of the other big casinos, would never leave. Like we'd stay there, eat dinner. Like we'd do the conference all day.
Right.
We do like our networking thing there. Then you do like dinner, and then you do an after hours thing at like the pool or whatever. And then you leave after 3 or 4 days. Your lungs feel like shit because you've just been breathing recycled air for that long.
Right.
But then one day, like a few of us were just like, let's just go do something different, because we had done so many, probably like 10 or 12 at that point in that year, or over the last couple of years. And I think the first place we went to was Girasol, like an Italian place in the city. And then we started going to Doc's a lot, and then some other spots. And I was like, oh my God, like it's so cool to see like these little spots that have been there for so long and that people can experience. And it makes it like, to me, that is something like the community aspect of the city that I think kind of got lost at a certain point in its history when like gaming came in and like all that kind of stuff.
Kind of changed it around.
It's changed the landscape of it quite a bit.
Right.
But then like there's places like this and the ones we just mentioned that are kind of holding true to like what made Atlantic City a success before gaming came.
Right. No, I mean, I remember growing up as a little kid, my grandparents had a place in Ventnor right up the street, and we would walk the boards, and with my mother and my grandparents, and I remember vividly walking by this building.
Yeah.
And then you said Doc's and things like that. I remember as a 6-7-year-old kid going excited to go out for dinner. I liked I liked seafood. And would go to Doc's and so forth, and remember these places from when I was a really young kid.
Sure.
So it's in your memory bank, and to be working at the Claridge at one of the places I remember walking by as a kid is kind of pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it is really cool. So let's go back to like the history side of it.
Yep.
So you had mentioned, and that's something which I'll ask if you don't get to it.
Yeah.
The history side, there's been a lot of famous people that have come through here.
Yeah.
Worked here, like all that kind of stuff. Let's hit people with some names that they're obviously going to recognize.
Well, I mean, Frank Sinatra. We even have some of our suites here called Frank. We have a bunch of Frank Sinatra suites here.
Yeah.
Because Frank was here. Marilyn Monroe was here. Matter of fact, We'll talk about it a little later, but our rooftop bar on the 23rd floor, one of the most amazing spots in Atlantic City right now. Right above there used to be a suite, and Marilyn Monroe used to take that suite.
Yeah.
I mean, like really, really cool stuff for famous people. Martin Luther King had stayed here and had meetings here. Past presidents. For baseball fans, not only did Mickey Mantle stay here, but Mickey Mantle actually, after his playing days were over with the Yankees, he actually worked in the marketing department at the Claridge.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that? One of the greatest, not only center fielders, but all just baseball players of all time.
Yeah.
Performers-wise, we had a lot of acts, even aside from some of those. Aretha Franklin was one of the people who originally opened the theater on our third floor.
Yeah.
I've managed to get a lot of headshots that I found throughout the building. Penn and Teller, Little Richie. A lot of these are bigger names that were staples there. An original play run of Cirque had played on that stage also.
Yeah.
So the history's there. But
Yeah. And speaking of history too, I like the fact, like I'm a big, I like history. That's like one of the things that I enjoy learning about. And obviously just walking around and looking at all the pictures.
Yeah,
You get like a really cool vibe. I mean, you had said like some of the pictures that are behind us, so people that are watching on YouTube can sort of see, and I'll take some pictures and I'll post them, but that's the bar that we're sitting at.
Yep.
And it's from when Prohibition ended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's wild.
Yep.
To think that
And it's all around the hotel. Like
Yeah.
you get off on your floor with your guest rooms.
Yeah.
While you're waiting for the elevator.
Yep.
There's all kinds of iconic shots of from the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Miss America
Yeah,
pageants.
right. Yeah, a lot of the Miss America contestants stayed here.
Yeah.
But a lot of the pictures around the hotel show them, and some of them are 50, 60 years ago with
In our grand ballroom, we have some pictures. He had mentioned the presidents came through. There was at one point that diplomats came in and did a large United Nations meeting in this building in our ballroom.
Yeah.
And some of those pictures, if you have a chance to check out the mezzanine, you'll see them all along the wall. All diplomats from all over the world were there.
Yeah. Yeah, I just happened, I stopped down to get a cup of coffee this morning, and then we're just, wandering around because I was, a little blurry-eyed and, need to get myself right. And I walked through, I guess, what was Malcolm's Lounge.
Yeah, it's still Malcolm's Lounge, which is not open every. Malcolm's Lounge isn't open every day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I was, walking through there.
Yeah.
And,
cool spot.
And all those, I took a picture of one that said, "Greetings from Atlantic City." So I'll have to find whoever did that picture and, get into a copyright battle. But
So Malcolm's Bar actually has still the original double door with the buzzer to get behind the Prohibition bars.
Really?
If you open the first door, it closes. The next door won't open unless you hit the buzzer. Obviously, that's taken apart now and just a normal storeway, but it's been left original to showcase that.
That's really cool. Okay, it's built. A lot of famous people have stayed here. Take me through kind of from then, almost kind of leading up to, somewhat modern day. Because obviously, the city has gone through a lot of ebbs and flows over the course of its life. And then the hotel has gone through all of those same.
Right.
All the world wars, the Prohibition, the everything.
And then casino game, right? Yeah.
Hurricane Sandy, all the things,
Right.
all these big
Right.
significant moments that have happened to Atlantic City. And I'm sure you guys have some interesting tidbits on.
Well, one of the biggest things here is, when Atlantic City kind of went through a bad time and several Atlantic City hotel casinos closed, a lot of them had some like I said, difficult times. But the Claridge took a different approach. The ownership came in and they did away with the casino gaming here. So at one point, casino gaming was huge. At one point, actually, I believe the Claridge was the smallest hotel that had, even though we're almost 500 rooms, was the smallest hotel that had gaming here.
Yeah.
And then once it took a turn for the worse, this hotel put a lot of money into the property and turned that casino gaming into banquet and meeting space. So to give us a whole another avenue to try to attract guests and so forth, where you're still, located on right at the boardwalk, at the beach. Those who play Monopoly, I mean, we are at Boardwalk and Park Place.
Yeah.
So right in the center of the boardwalk. So, but we have, almost 100,000 square feet of banquet and convention space in the hotel now. A lot of that used to be gaming, so we can do very large conventions. Like I said, we're 480 room hotel, so we can take some significant groups. And for the people who still like gaming, we're not far from it. You could actually, without ever leaving the building, going down to our second floor, walk right to Bally's. Some of our guest rooms are as close to their casino as some of the guest rooms at Bally's.
Yeah.
It's almost as close. And then from Bally's, you can actually get into Caesars without ever leaving the building. So you can go to 2 gaming halls without walking outside here. So, that's one of the changes. And then, of course, COVID happened, and as we continued to go along, and then we were only one of a couple hotels that actually remained open in Atlantic City, because we were fortunate enough to land a group of, a medical group that was helping people during the beginning of COVID, and they stayed with us. And so when every hotel was ordered by the mayor to shut its doors, well, you don't want us to put all the medical people out on the street.
Yeah.
So were we very busy? No, but we were open with people that needed to be here. So, that transitioned through COVID, and then everyone then opened up, and now here we are.
Then we're back.
Our ability to change with the times is really important. So when we were bought originally in 2014 by the ownership we have now, Caesars had owned Bally's and us, and it was also around that time where you have all the other casinos popping up everywhere else.
Yeah.
So it was kind of more evident now that people aren't necessarily coming all the way from Philly or New York just to gamble, but they are still coming for the beach.
Yeah.
So with us, like Jeff said, now having room for more conference space and events and being able to lean into that family aspect, it gives people that are still coming down from Philly and New York something to be able to do that doesn't necessarily lean towards what they already have now back at home.
Yeah.
And there's so many, unlike, say, 10, 15, especially 20 years ago, I mean, there's gaming everywhere.
Yeah.
At one time, when it first started in Atlantic City, I mean, if you weren't in the Caribbean, and you were in, the United States, it's either Vegas or here.
Right.
Now you can't go to hardly anywhere where you can't find a casino.
Yeah, so you can do half the shit from your phone.
Correct.
Correct. Sports gambling, all that kind of stuff. It's so easily accessible now that it kind of pulls the attention away from the brick and mortar type thing.
Yeah.
But then and I think it's interesting what you said. I think you said it.
If it was interesting, he must.
Yeah, definitely. But just kind of changing with the times. And I feel like a lot of the places that we mentioned, the places that have been here for so long, because the waves that Atlantic City has gone through, if you're not being able to adapt and kind of roll with those punches, so to speak, at certain points in its history, there's no way you survive. And it just kind of goes to show. I mean, it's interesting to me going away from gambling with the Claridge, because that just seemed like the thing to do. Yep. You have all these why not compete, but then also at the same time why not do something different? If you can't punch at that weight class, do something else really well. Yeah. That's what you guys do, and I think that's really cool. Yeah. So we're going to take our break.
Oh, great.
And then we're going to be back with our second segment, learn more about things that are going on at the hotel now. We'll learn about view, learn about all that kind of stuff, the restaurant, everything.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of wrap it up from there. So this is the Greenies from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Cam. We are here in Atlantic City, New Jersey today at the Claridge with Randy Price and Jeff Marshall. We'll be right back.
The Mayo Performing Arts Center is the heart of arts and entertainment in Morristown, New Jersey. MPAC presents over 200 events annually and is home to an innovative children's arts education program. To see MPAC's upcoming schedule of world-class concerts, stand-up comedy, family shows, and more, head to mayoarts.org or just click the link in our show notes. Bored of going to the same park? Want to try a new local adventure? Well, then check out njspots.com, your home for finding a new spot to discover right here in New Jersey. With dozens of maps to check out, local hiking spots, family-friendly places, and seasonal suggestions, NJ Spots is waiting for you to find somewhere new to explore. That's njspots.com.
All right, we're back for our second segment of this episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Cam. We're here in Atlantic City, New Jersey today at the Claridge with Randy Price and Jeff Marshall. So first segment, we learned about you guys and why you're here. And then obviously like the history of this historic hotel, which is really cool. And I think like it's almost, it's the oldest hotel.
Not technically.
Not technically.
I believe there's another one. I'm not sure which one, but I believe Resorts might be the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll just say that you guys. Anyway, but
Definitely on that list.
Yeah, sure. So
Or one of you.
yeah, one of the oldest. The second oldest bar.
Got that.
You know? I think that's really cool. I love like these lion heads. I came down here for a drink and like an appetizer before I went to bed last night.
Right.
And I was sitting where you are, and I was just like, man, like these things are so cool. And then now I learned that they've been here for
Right.
however long that.
1930, right?
Yeah, right. Like almost 100 years.
The originality and the craftsmanship really shines, and
Yeah.
keeping that
Like throughout the
years.
hotel.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And yeah, like you said, like what we're about to say, and I'm sorry I cut you off, but like keeping it throughout the years and like becoming modern, but then also keeping like the connection to what makes you guys special, I think is really cool, you know, and like not easy to do in some cases because a lot of places, not just in Atlantic City, but everywhere try to. I just like can't quite make that connection. You either have to like stay super old school or like do it right with like the combination. I think you guys do a good job of that.
Thank you.
So before we kind of get into like the stuff that you guys are doing now and all that, we have been talking a little bit about like the location, about like the Monopoly thing on Boardwalk and what is it?
We're at Boardwalk and Park Place.
Park Place.
Right. Like if you ever play Monopoly, they're the most expensive
Yeah, right.
properties on the Monopoly board.
Sure. So, and we have been talking off mic that there's like a more cool stuff like right around here.
There is.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you're right in the center of the boardwalk.
Which is the longest boardwalk in the world.
Correct.
There's a fun fact for you guys.
And we're right in
there.
and we're right in the middle.
Yeah.
When the city first built it, they spent more money than the entire tax revenue they were going to make that year because they were gambling on it working. So the city's always been gambling.
Always a gambler.
And it worked out well.
Yeah.
And you can also walk to the over the last several years they built many outlet stores, and Tanger Outlets are a block and a half away from the hotel here. You know,
Right in front of us, we have Brighton Park, which has the Thomas Edison light dedicated to him when he originally brought power to Atlantic City back in the day.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
It's like a war memorial.
It's a Korean War memorial.
Yeah.
And then recently it has the music.
So they just dedicated the entire park there also to another thing too. It's the National R&B Music Society.
Oh, cool.
So they're starting to do things there. In our theater, actually, last year we had Kenny Burke got the Lifetime Achievement Award for R&B on our stage on the third floor, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're also real close proximity to Boardwalk Hall, where and also close proximity to the Atlantic City Convention Center. So for big groups coming into the Atlantic City area, we're very easy walk to both. If there's entertainment at Boardwalk Hall, it's a great place to stay. You know, if you're going to see a concert over there. At the or stay here if you're attending a convention at the actual convention center. New Jersey Transit, the train station is at the convention center. I know it well. I actually take the train a couple times a week, at least once a week to break it up a little bit. You know, 12-minute walk from the train station to the hotel.
Sure.
Plus free transportation. The jitneys will pick you up for free to take you to the train station from our hotel.
That's awesome.
It really is.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. And it is such a good spot. Like last night I was just like looking for something to do. Went up to the boardwalk and just started going.
Yeah.
Like you're obviously going to run into a ton of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And
Steel Piers right up the street.
Yeah. Like I think I was telling you before we actually started, like I found the Irish pub.
Yep.
Like I knew about it.
Yep.
I'd never been. And then I was like, oh my God, it's like right there. It's like St. James, I think, is that one?
I'm not entirely sure, but it is literally right down the street.
But yeah, so I think like that's really cool. But I also want to get into some of the stuff. Like obviously there's like the historic aspect of the Claridge, but then also all the stuff that you guys are doing now. So like weddings and conferences and all that kind of stuff. We've touched on some of it so far. But take me through like, let's do a wedding.
Yeah, I mean the weddings are unbelievable. We have a terrific a catering director here and a banquet team under him that just does tremendous job. The feedback we get on our weddings, last year we did around 50 weddings,
Yeah.
which is a lot, and we have a very historic, charming grand ballroom overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Great pre-function space for cocktail parties. We have another room where we often use it as a ceremony room where they can actually have their wedding ceremony, overlooking big glass windows overlooking the beach and the Atlantic Ocean. And really cool thing. So it's and the prices are affordable, and it's a great value. And more importantly, or equally as important, it's great service that we offer. I mean, I can't tell you how many great letters that our catering and banquet team get after the weddings are over. That it was, just a wonderful experience, and it's a pretty important day for everyone when they're getting married. So to get that kind of positive feedback is just terrific. And they'll do weddings, 50 to 500 people. There's a lot of flexibility. There's several different. I talked about the grand ballroom, but we have another ballroom called the main ballroom. We have an ocean view ballroom. We have a lot of different space depending upon the size and your desire.
Sure.
It's just a lot to choose from, and right from when they first walk in the door, it's a great experience right from the beginning to the actual wedding day.
Yeah, we try to streamline it as much as possible. So as much as we are one of the older buildings in the area, we try and make it a process for you of booking your wedding or your event as simple as it would be going to a newer place, for example. So like one of the things I've been working with Jeff recently is trying to get our website and our social medias redone to keep up with everybody else.
Yeah.
We're looking to try and unveil an app in the fall this year for any in-house guests and stuff like that. And one of the more important things, too, is like the access you have to the questions you might want. So we got all our catering menus and stuff are now listed on our website, so you can just scroll through and look at that. Sands and Colleen, one of the nice things that we have here, actually, because we're smaller, when it comes to a size of like Borgata and Ocean, it's a lot more personal.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're doing your wedding here, you're going to call and talk to Jeff Sands or Colleen Carlin, who is our banquet and sales catering.
Yeah.
They will literally walk you through every single step. You have any questions, they answer all the time, and they're very personal.
Yeah.
A lot of the places, you don't get that touch.
Right. Definitely.
And the other thing I'd be crazy not to mention is how good the food is.
Yeah.
Yes.
People come to weddings, they want to make sure the food is good. I mean, our executive chef, Craig Johnson, just a really talented guy, and under him, Carolyn and his whole team really do a good job with the food. Everything from the banquet food for weddings and banquet food for conventions to the restaurants. They just it's consistently good.
Yeah, Chef Craig is actually, as our executive chef, he's done menus in many of the other buildings in the area. Recently, he just started doing a specific catering menu, more Southern cuisine. If you do private events and stuff like that, you can choose from that. That's from his a side project he's building that's called Lavander's 22. We have that available for private events. So you have options for food that you don't necessarily get that many customizable choices in other places.
Yeah, it's a cool story how Lavander's came about. That was Chef Craig's brother, Lavander Johnson, and he was a great boxer, a championship boxer.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he passed away from a boxing match.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's really nice that we were able to name it after his brother like that, and obviously Chef Craig takes a lot of pride in that, and a lot of like Randy mentioned, a lot of Southern cuisine, which is just really I've developed a taste for. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really good food. But even the you come here in the 20s for breakfast in the morning. I mean, it's just different. The food is really, really good here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not just talking weddings and things like that.
Sure.
It's just, even up in the view on our rooftop bar, which I'm sure we'll get into. I mean, they have, more like more dirt type kind of food, nachos, things like that. But it's good.
Yeah.
And then you're 23 floors up, smelling the salt air, and it's a really cool atmosphere.
Yeah.
The whole hotel is, but I guess we'll talk a little bit about the view.
Yeah. let's before we do the view, let's do 20s because
we're sitting here.
Yeah. So obviously it has the cool bar, the historic second oldest bar in Atlantic City. And then by that token, I would imagine like if it's the second oldest bar in Atlantic City, it's probably like one of the older ones in the state/country.
Sure.
I would go
Good majority, probably.
Probably like in the top 100.
I can see it on that list. Yeah, because we're definitely an older city.
I mean, I'm not, I'm not an expert in that, but we could possibly say that. So, let's talk about 20s, kind of like what goes on here, the type of food. Like you mentioned breakfast. I didn't realize that they do breakfast until just now. I know it's kind of like Italian focused.
Yeah, what is it? Italian, and then as Randy mentioned, Chef Craig's put a little bit of Southern cuisine on top of the Italian.
Yeah,
so
fusion action.
Yeah, so I mean, and the restaurant itself is similar to the bar here that you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's truly, I guess, a good word would be old world charm.
Yes.
I mean, with views of the boardwalk, of the beach, of the Atlantic. It's just a cool atmosphere. Lots of woods. It's it's right on our 6th floor here, and
the food choices: chicken franchise, bruschetta stacked. Like you're gonna get the more ingrained food choices, and not just the standard spaghetti meatballs Italian. You know what I mean? Like it's more love in the food that he cooks, and you can really taste that. Like Jeff was mentioning before.
Yeah, the wait staff is terrific.
They work.
I mean, it's I mean, I don't have to tell you, you ate here, so you could have really good food if you don't have great service with it. It's sometimes you don't enjoy the food as much. But here you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
you really do.
No, totally. And the space itself is just so cool, and it again like kind of ties, like I was saying before, like the history stuff to a modern kind of vibe too, because you have like a pretty modern menu in like this cool space, and like obviously there's a lot of you still have the pictures on the wall and the view and all that kind of stuff. So speaking of view,
but one thing I wanted to add on the 20s before we even get to the view.
Yeah,
a lot of the restaurants in Atlantic City are really expensive too. They have specials for not only breakfast but dinner here.
Yeah,
really reasonably priced.
Yeah,
so it's a nice option too.
We also offer the spend a certain amount and you get free parking if you're somebody who's not staying in the hotel, for example.
Yeah,
so that's a good caveat to add in there.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're attached right to a garage, so it's easy and easy.
Yeah, so I'm a big self-park guy, especially today because I had to like bounce around with all my stuff. The other places that I was reporting, and it was just so easy. Like just scan the thing, go out, scan it back,
it's easy,
good to go.
And we also, for those who prefer valet, offer.
Yeah, if you're a valet person, you got that.
Right.
Yeah.
So view it.
Yeah. So the view. So I saw the view. Like you had sent me some info before we started, and that's the picture right there that we were just talking about. And so to me, like going up there, I was like, first off, the guy behind the bar, Brian. Shout out Brian. He was awesome.
Oh,
was like literally like the night. He's like, I'm Brian. Yeah. Like he was like offering up whatever.
Great.
Bahama Mamas. I think he was like, you want a Bahama Mama? I was like, nah, I'm more of a beer guy. But so he was great. But then like just walking outside and just kind of like,
isn't it cool?
It was insane. Like I took a picture. I posted it. And I think that the Claridge shared it. But just like being able to see the park, see the boardwalk, see, the beach and the ocean, like all that kind of stuff. And then also to be able to, because Atlantic City to me has like a super interesting like skyline too, because of all of its kind of eclectic casinos and hotels and like bigger buildings. And obviously like the
Ferris wheel.
And, so you get everything. Because it's on both sides. The only thing it doesn't have is like the back, but you can still see out the back.
Right.
But you get like a whole like basically 360 view of everything in Atlantic City, which I think adds to that whole experience.
Yeah, and at sundown, it's incredible.
No, I'd imagine.
It's just some of our pictures on our website were taken at sundown, and it's just...
if you go to that valley side of the view, that back corner right over Bader Field is exactly where the sun sets. So it's literally
on a clear day
over the airport in that corner. The timing of that, and the sunrise is the exact opposite, right over the beach, right over the pier. You see the Ferris wheel. Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
and it's actually the tallest rooftop bar second in I was going to say in New Jersey. Yeah,
the tallest one's in Newark, looking at Jersey City, but that's way up there.
But this is a nice review.
Yeah, for sure. Jersey City, whatever.
And we have live entertainment there on the weekend, especially in the summer. There's always some fun going on there. Good munchies to eat.
We got some new things like paint and sip we're trying to do on Wednesdays, for example, karaoke nights.
Yeah.
Looking to get like a quiz night type thing going. We want to do more because you notice it in the area with people going out that they're not just going out to hang out and drink anymore. People want to have engagement. They want things to do like the barcade games and such.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find new ways to keep people entertained while they're there and not just sit.
Right.
We've been pulling back a little bit on the DJs because, for example, compared to like Ocean or Howard's Pool, we're not a nightclub. You know what I mean? So we've been leaning more into like acoustic acts and live performances. It's been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
It showcases more of that originality of us. You know what I mean? And not trying to be something we're not.
And and we typically have happy hour from 4 to 6:30 every day.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. People coming off the beach, they want to get something to drink, get something to eat. Some real attractive stuff going on during happy hour. One of the other things we do up there, the deck is so big. We can do private parties up there. So we do private events that are just, incredible, to have that kind of view and everything up there. And, we've been doing, especially in the last couple of years, many more private events. And it's not like we have to shut everything down because we have two completely different sides of the outdoor deck. So we can have a private party on one side. They're all private, do their own thing. And then have our normal hotel guests on the other side.
Yeah.
Weather permitting, obviously. Sure. And then we have an inside part of the bar, too.
We have a birthday party up there tonight on the Hard Rock side, and the rest of the bar is still open to the public. That one section's just cut off.
And then every August, if you're ever in Atlantic City for the annual air show that goes on, there's not a better place in a city to view that air show than there. And we do a catered lunch up there. It's part of a package. We have some attractive room rates for people who want to stay over, but and it sells out quick. So, if anyone's ever attending the air show in August, it's pretty much an annual thing. This is the place to be for it.
Yeah. When they do this is just a sidebar question because I think that's really cool, and I like that kind of stuff, and I would one day like to see that. Like the air show, but when they do the big music festivals out on the beach, is that in this area?
It's very it's very close. It's right. Matter of fact, the tents are literally right outside them, and a lot of the people who put the stuff together stay with us.
Yeah,
that's how close they are.
And so if you're up there, could you also?
So depending on the concert, usually the country concert that comes in, all the concerts put their main stage along the pier at Caesars over here. Yeah. So that's literally right behind Bally's. If you're up in the view, it blocks the sound for the main stage. Sure. But for example, the I don't want to say adjacent, the Blink-182 fest that was here the other day.
Yeah.
They actually had a secondary stage on this portion of the beach, and you could hear them during their sound check and all that. And that was actually pretty cool because you got a chance to enjoy it while they were warming up, and you could still sit up there, not necessarily be waiting on the beach until all day long.
Right. Yeah. No, that's cool. This has been great.
Yeah.
We hit everything we were supposed to hit, right?
I think the one thing we offer too, Randy talked about the entertainment at the View. There's also on most weekends, most Friday and Saturdays, sometimes even Sundays, and especially during the prime season, but even in the off season on certain weekends, we have the Atlantic City comedy show. That's here pretty much every
weekend. Yeah,
he works a lot of them, and he makes sure everything's all set and looking good for those events, and it's a lot of fun. They bring in some really good comedians, so it's a fun place. Stay over, check out a comedy show. If they want to do some shopping, the outlets are right up the street, the boardwalk, the beach. They want to go to the casinos, it's literally right next door without even going outside. So it's a lot to do.
Yeah. And
arcade for the kids.
Yeah.
Bring the children.
Right. As you're walking in from
the garage, you can see it. It's a great little arcade for not even little. It's a nice arcade.
Have the pool, the fitness center.
We have an indoor pool, fitness center. So
Starbucks in the lobby.
Yeah. We're proud of it. We're proud of it, if you can't tell.
No, I can tell. And then the whole time, you could be learning stuff. I learned a bunch of stuff in this episode that I didn't even know, which I thought I got some from the pictures, at least.
Right.
But now even just learning all this stuff, I think it's insane to me, just how like the different intricacies of Atlantic City to me are so interesting and so like cool, and like this is part of that, you know what I mean? So if people are listening to this episode and they want to learn more, stay here, come to an event,
Claridge.com.
that is the hub.
Same thing on socials. Claridge AC for Instagram, Claridge AC, View AC.
Awesome. Yeah,
Check us out.
and View is VUE.
VUE,
That
correct.
is important to know.
That is a very good point.
But I'll make sure that I put those in the show notes that people can just click them and it'll take them right to the website, the social handles. Guys, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
This was a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so again, we'll put the Claridge stuff in the show notes. So you can just go click that, check it out next time you're down here. I'll put greensfromthegardenstate.com so you can check out all of our other episodes. Obviously, if you enjoyed this one, and we're basically right in the middle of our Atlantic City swing over the next couple weeks. So that'll be in the show notes as well. Again, this has been the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Cam. We were here with Randy Price and Jeff Marshall of the Claridge in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time.